The configurable version of GraphPad now has the ability to add and modify tables. And tables are like mini Excel spreadsheets. And so in this case, I'm going to start by just showing how they interact with the drawing. And so I'm going to take a standard table that I provide with GraphPad, which is a summary table. And what we're going to do is we're just going to calculate an area real quick. And this particular table is going to interact by capturing any data that we capture in the drawing and then putting it inside the table automatically. And so I'm also going to talk briefly about another feature we have, which is patterns. And so with a pattern, and we'll look at this particular one, we can specify the pattern, the background color, the line, the type of pattern that it's going to have, and the line color, as well as give it a name, for in this example, concrete, and then a per unit cost, which is 35. And so if we go back, and now we're going to fill this particular object, like we're going to create a cement pad for it. All we'd have to do is select the lines around the perimeter and hit fill. And now what we'll see is that in our drawing, we've actually calculated it. We've filled the geometry with the pattern, but we've also in the summary table given the concrete, the unit price, taken that calculated area and put it in as a quantity, and then performed our table calculations. And so that's basically how a table is going to work. Now you'll notice that there's a plus and a minus sign, so you can actually delete a row out of a table, or you can add an additional row into a table and then type in whatever you need to, for example, labor costs. But the tables themselves can be created and modified within the application. And so if I go to the tables category, you can do this in any category of the library, but we'll just look at how the tables work. If we select an item and hit edit, first of all, we'll notice that there's two buttons down here, new table and new border. We'll cover borders in another example. But if we hit new table, it's going to create a single column table, and we can then start adding columns, our footers, our calculations, etc. We can change the title. We'll just leave it as new table for simplicity. We can add a column, so we just go in there and say we're going to add price to this particular table. And so now we have description and price. We can add an image. Sorry, by default it's set to image. And now if we save that and we reopen our, let's close this, reopen our category, we'll see that that table has been added at the very top. Actually, it's this one right here. Okay, so here's our new table. It's going to now have an image. And so if we go to another library item and say, for example, we add electrical symbols, we'll see that it adds the image, it adds the type of item, and then it'll keep track of it. So we'll notice down here it actually specifies special purpose floor. We'll delete that extra labor row. And as we add these items, we'll see it keeps track of those items for us and any cost associated with it, and multiply it out. So that's basically how tables work. One other feature that we have, and we'll just go to another page for this, and if we bring up our tables category, we do have the concept of a legend type table, and all it's going to do is it's going to give us the images, and it's not going to maintain a count, but it just gives us a legend of the items that we're putting onto the table for us. And that's basically how tables work. There's a little bit more detail about tables in the user guide, but this should be enough to get you started. Thank you very much.